Tell me if this sounds familiar. You boot up Tekken, make your way to ranked, and you hesitate for a moment on the character select. You say to yourself, I know that my main is Jin, but man, Yoshimitsu is so cool. You hesitate for a moment before simply selecting Jin because the time it would take to learn a new character after you put in so much work in this one, no chance. Maybe you even watched EVO this past weekend. And with Lydia out and Heihachi just getting announced, all of these new characters come out has definitely gotten me excited to learn some new characters. And what if I told you that you could learn any character on the roster and any future character in the roster in almost half the time it took you to learn your first one, no matter who it is? In this video, I'll be showing you my exact step-by-step process to learning a new character. With this same strategy, I was able to learn King, Dragunov, Reina, Jin, Eddie, Brian, and now Hwoarang just enough to win almost every single one of my matches when I create a video on the character. This guide isn't meant to be a specific character guide, nor is it meant to teach you how to master a character instantly. Instead, this strategy is meant to give you specific tools you need to understand, execute, and promote organic growth of a game plan to learn and develop your knowledge of a character. Let's go ahead and get into the first step. Now, the first thing that I do every time when I'm wanting to learn a brand new character, before I do anything, is to refer to the Tekken 8 library document. If you've never heard of the Tekken 8 library, it's a great Google document created by AppPlay, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, that goes over the best moves, staple combos, grabs, and a few other nice things to know about a character. This guide is more or less my Bible for learning any new character, and has the most concise information to save us time as players. The best part about the Tekken 8 library is that it's regularly updated and added to, and there's no need to download anything new each time. Because it's a Google Doc that's shared as a read-only document, every single time you visit the document, it'll have the newest, most updated version ready to go. Going back to Hwoarang, we can see that this document has plenty of info for us, which leads me to the very next step. The next step that I do every time I learn a character is to learn one and only one combo. Now pause. This is when I need to put a disclaimer about combos because it's important. Many people say that combos are not important and is one of the last things that you should worry about. I don't disagree with this actually, but the reason I'm telling you to learn a combo first is not because of the combo itself, but to familiarize yourself with the moves in the character's kit that are actively being utilized. For example, if we go and we take a look at Hwoarang's combos, we can notice a few moves that seem to be in every combo. Right foot stance 3-4 is used multiple times, along with up forward 3+4. Even if I've never heard of or seen these moves in my entire life, I could easily tell you that these are two crucial key pieces to Hwoarang's combo game. Knowing the structure of moves not only helps you with more consistent combos, but it also helps you learn key moves as you continue to flesh out the knowledge of the character you're learning. So we have the Tekken library, and we have a combo for when we launch our opponent. The next thing that is important for me to understand is my character's neutral game, and work out a rough draft of my win condition. You've probably heard win condition before, whether it's from fighting games or not. It means the same thing. At the most basic, and also how we'll be referring to win condition in this video, is how do I want to win the game? That question can vary depending on skill level, character, player preference, player strengths and weaknesses, and so much more. Your win con, or very simply your game plan, is all about playing to your strengths as a player and your character to get the easiest wins possible. Remember that this win condition is meant to be broken and bent on later when you understand your character better. But when you're just learning a character, you can't actively mix up your actions if you don't have a standard game plan to deviate from. So we have our game plan, we have our combo, now we can start filling in the rest of the holes with our game plan that we might have. Remember, there's nothing wrong with having gaps in your gameplay and only realizing it until you hop into the game. It's a learning experience, and enjoying the character is the most crucial part to quick progression. So on the topic of win con, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys my win con. Very small and very simplistic since this character has a lot of moves and is a very fleshed out character, and it's just literally my first couple of hours of playing this character. I wanted to show you kind of a simplistic game plan and an idea of what I'm looking for and what I'm trying to do, so you can better understand for characters who have much less moves than Hwoarang how to pretty much make a game plan. So obviously, left flamingo stance and right flamingo stance are both very important. But left flamingo stance is a little easier for me to understand than right flamingo stance. So because of that, I'm going to be using a lot more fake pressure, very similar to a lot of other beginner Hwoarangs. I'm going to be using a lot of forward 4 and switching over to left flamingo, and down 3-4 and switching back over. The game plan more or less is down 3-4 switch, down 3-4 switch, 3-4 switch, down 3-4 switch, and yada yada yada. Pretty much continuing that on and mixing those up. It's a very simplistic, easy way to get low damage, and mid damage when they're ducking. Now, already some couple of problems can arise from this strategy right off the bat, and that being the fact that switching to left flamingo stance is considered fake pressure. It's not actually real, and they can still press on that. So if I switch over and do it again, they can interrupt that at any point. We'll get to that here a little later, and I'll show you guys how I figured out how to fix that. We'll talk more about fixing problems later, but right now, as long as you have a game plan that you feel will work, there's no need to change it until some player shows you that you need to change it. Another thing as well that I'd like to incorporate is being able to do flappy kicks as well to try and stop them from interrupting. Because if I start my down 3-4 sequence and instead of swapping, if I do down 3-4 and flappy kicks, that'll stop them from trying to press. Obviously, they will be able to duck since it is a high. However, they'd have to be either reading another down like that, or they would just be assuming that flappy kicks is coming. And at that point, with the knowledge that I have of the character, that's just a loss that I'm willing to take learning the character. And sometimes you just have to be willing to accept that. Sometimes you have to just understand that you don't understand everything there is to know about this character, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with trying to apply a plan, failing miserably, and going back to the drawing board and going, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? And what can I learn from my mistakes? So now that we have the core of our game plan down, I want to go ahead and show some things that we can pad our game plan with to either annoy the opponent more or help us get a little more damage to try and win. For example, my game plan kind of, as you probably already saw, revolves around being pretty fucking annoying. So because of that, I want more pokes that kind of annoy and mentally frustrate the opponent more as well. So here's a couple of great examples. Down back 3 leaves me in crouch while I'm doing it, so it's a high crush low that only leaves me -1. The damage isn't good, but it's the sheer factor of being able to high crush somebody's jab or high. In this case, if Kazuya was here and we were playing against a Kazuya, being able to high crush his electric is pretty annoying. I'd get pretty upset as well if I was this Kazuya. The flamingo stances are more or less the game plan and the core function of Hwoarang and what I am trying to do. But sometimes entering down 3-4 to try and get into right foot flamingo, or even just doing like forward 3 to get into left flamingo, is not really good because it's A, 1, predictable, and B, forward 3 is not an actual like move that you're hitting them with, so they can still interrupt at any point. Opting for up 3 as well can sometimes help, putting me at +5 on block and is a natural launcher. Lastly, outside of that, there's not really much in approachable tools outside of like forward, forward 4, and then forward, forward 3. Interesting thing about forward, forward 3, and while running 3 are just about the same move. While running 3 will knock down from far away, but both of them are both +6 on block. And I think while running 3 is like 3 frames slower, 2 frames slower, something like that. It's not, they do the same thing, that's all that matters. One thing that I will have to keep in mind though is the linearity of both of these moves. So approaching with moves isn't always going to be the best, and sometimes just wave dashing in might be the best as well. With our approachable tools, annoying pokes, and anything else we might need down, it's time for the most important part of this step-by-step process: playing some online matches. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any online matches to show you since as I was recording this video, the servers were down because Lydia was going up. However, I do have games that I will be reviewing from playing with my boyfriend that are going to get the exact same effect as playing online, and I'll give you a step-by-step walkthrough of what I mean by analyzing your gameplay. So now that we're in the match, I can go ahead and talk a little bit about my game plan afterwards, how I would need to fix some things, what went wrong, and what I wasn't able to predict. I didn't record the actual gameplay of me playing because I didn't think it was important, because what is important is the aftermath in figuring out what happened and what went wrong and what I did well. Starting right off the bat, they whiff a move, and I'm able to get a semi-decent combo. Obviously, first day playing, being able to do that much was good enough for me. So right there, the flappy kicks didn't work as long as I thought it was going to be, and right away, Leo just instantly was able to dick jab and get out of it. I still got some damage on it, and I still was able to get a little bit of pressure, so it's not horrible, but I do need to keep in mind that I can't spam flappy kicks nearly as much as I first thought I would be able to. And right there again, I tried to do a second set of flappy kicks, and right away, instantly was ducking. And as we can see there, this is a very important thing, so I talked about this a little bit earlier. Forward 3 is very difficult to get in with because I can get counter hit like that. I did it twice in a row. Both times I got hit, and the second time I got counter hit into a combo for it. This right here proves that I was correct about forward 3, and I need to be careful about trying to approach with a move that's more or less just kind of a stance transition than an actual move itself. And right there, just then, I tried to do down 3 into left stance transition again, into down 3-4 again, and right away, I was also clipped from it. I'm unsure of what moves they can do. Obviously, that wasn't anything too crazy, but I'm unsure if I can get down forward 2'd out of this. So this would be something in the point where I should go in and look at it and go, let's look at what moves I can do from this so I know how much am I risking if they do decide to press. And right there, I tried to do the exact opposite, where I did down 3-4 into left flamingo transition again, into just 3-4 to try and get a mid. He ducked the high, and then punished me for it. So in the very first game and second round, my game plan has been proven incorrect or not nearly as good as I thought it was twice in a row for both different sections. Which is not a problem, that's actually good. The more problems that you can find in your game plan, the much easier it will be to go back and fix those problems later on. Knowing that I'm able to watch this and find my problems will mean that I can become a better player in general and a better Hwoarang player. And that's about it for this replay. It didn't take too much, it only took 2 games, but I'll go ahead and recap what I figured out and what I plan to work on. Flappy kicks is a very well-known high, and a lot of people are going to be ducking it, so I need to be ready to instantly switch over to a mid as soon as I see people ducking it. My down 3-4 into transition into left flamingo, 3-4 yada yada, that entire game plan is fake pressure, and I need to be aware that people can mash on it, and I might even get launched for it. And finally, I need to work a little bit more on the consistency of my combos and not throwing out back 3 nearly as much. I didn't show it too much, but there was a handful of times where he blocked back 3 and just simply didn't punish it. Back 3 is extremely negative and is going to get me launched by just about anybody who knows anything about Hwoarang, so I need to be careful throwing that move out because it's a lot slower than I thought, and I can't use it as a whiff punisher if they're either really far away or it's a super fast recovery, so I need to be careful about that. And with those couple of small changes, I could very, very quickly be ranked ready very quickly. In only 1 day cycle, 1 hour of practicing, and 2 matches, I was able to solidify a game plan that I wanted to run, fix the problems in my game plan, and am now ready to go run the gauntlet in ranked or quick match and figure out how other players are trying to get around my game plan. Quick play would be the best choice from this point forward so I can play other players from around the world and figure out how they are dealing with this kind of pressure so I can get a larger pool of how people are reacting to my stances so I can go farther from there. And with that, you have successfully finished my step-by-step guide to starting a brand new character. The great thing about this is once you know what tools to look for with a character, it only becomes easier and easier to quickly learn and pick up other characters. Remember, there is a lot more work that needs to be done to even become proficient with this new character. But as long as you enjoy the character, take the time to practice combos, learn punishment for the character, and apply what you learned today, you could be close to where your main is in skill in absolutely no time. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like it, consider leaving a like, subscribing, and commenting down below what else you'd like to see. I appreciate the support so much, guys, and good luck on your journey in learning a new character. Let me know who you guys learned down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.